Hey everyone, wanted to do a video. Having a problem with someone that's gaslighting the community in here in Salem about the Black Lives Matter movement and in the Black Lives Matter movement, and is purporting to be a leader. And I know that what we need now is unity and not really infighting, and that's why I held off on making this video for so long, because I was trying my hardest to privately handle this and get things sorted out, but it's just not being done. And I'm not the only one that has tried. Just numerous other people have tried to handle this mostly out of the public eye, so that our Black Lives Matter movement looks completely united. But when we have someone that's gaslighting the community and lying about shit and being homophobic and transphobic, I have to call it out, because if I am silent, then I'm just going to let it perpetuate and keep going. Yeah, I'm talking about a specific person. That person is Greg Sensman Jr., and I'm calling him out because he's lying, he's grifting, and he's being homophobic and transphobic, and he's just gaslighting the whole entire community. And my evidence is not only supported by the 2 videos that I will have below, but I can show screenshots if I need to. But people can say everything they want about me. They can say that I'm a cunt and shit, but they can't say I'm a liar. And that's one thing you can't. So, he said in his latest rambling yesterday morning in his live video before he deleted it, which is linked below the video of that, he said every person who approached him about gender identity has been white and hasn't said anything about Black Lives Matter. That's not true. Me and Natasha have repeatedly gone to him and tried to talk to him and say, hey, what you're saying is really not okay with the LGBTQ community, and here's why. And it's like talking to a brick wall. He just doesn't care. He says that he's feeling attacked all the time and just doesn't listen. So it's not true, and we're both black, so it's not just white people. Says it's hard to keep talking when he's being attacked. When you're being criticized for your poor choice of words, you're not being attacked. And your poor choice of words hurts the LGBTQ community. Like, when somebody tells you that, you should probably just listen, not feel like you're being attacked. He said, and I quote, "I feel like I'm being silenced more by the LGBTQ allies than I am anyone else." Really? Maybe if we're all saying the same thing over and over and over again to you, it's not us. Maybe it's you. And he says, the quote, "The LGBTQ community has made me feel oppressed. Made me feel oppressed. Has made me feel like I'm less important. The LGBTQ community steps up like they're the most important community. We're all equal." You just used the argument that the All Lives Matter crowd uses against the Black Lives Matter movement, but just against us who are gay and trans. I mean, just wow. Says he feels like he can't say only a couple words without being criticized. It's because you keep on saying the same things, and people keep on saying to you, hey, it's hurtful, and you keep on not giving a shit. Says we're focusing on racism now, aka not homophobia, transphobia. No, we're focusing on all of them, because those of us who are black and gay and trans are not just dealing with racism in itself. We get all of it. All at once. Said, even in my speeches, I'm starting to mention them like like he should be praised for acknowledging that we exist. Like, seriously, that's the bare minimum that you should be doing. I'm not going to pat you on the back for saying, hey, these people actually exist. Like, seriously, screw you. Quote, when you have a black trans lives matter, it sounds like you're saying that black straight lives don't matter. Really, dude? We... Let me put it another way, see if you can hear it. When you have a Black Lives Matter, it sounds like you're saying that white lives don't matter. That's literally, you're using the exact all lives matter argument again, except against gay people. Like, it's we quote, we really have to be careful about the narrative when we talk about equality, what we're really representing. When you push one narrative in front of the other one, you take away from the original narrative. We're not pushing a narrative in front of the Black Lives Matter movement. We are highlighting a part of the Black Lives Matter movement. We are black and gay and trans. They're not a separate community. You're not understanding that, even though I've tried to explain that to you over and over and over again. He blames all of his frustrations on white allies when it's not just white people confronting him. Both Natasha and I are black and have confronted him. And says to be patient with him with learning about pronouns. Says he's setting up a structure to teach people about things and understand them better. Says don't come and try to explain a whole nother thing like the LGBT community and the black community aren't the same already. We're allowed to bring up the stuff that is specific to us in the Black Lives Matter community movement altogether. It's not separate. Again, he said, quote, set something up that invites people to come learn about the LGBTQ community. Start a program. And I'm not saying it hasn't been started. I'm just not aware of it. But I'm saying if you feel people aren't educated enough on the LGBTQ language, then start a program where you teach people in the community instead of, and yes, I'm going to say this word because I feel like I've been antagonized. Stop antagonizing people about the words they are using and set up something where you can educate people, okay? Excuse me? First off, we tell white people all the time that it's not our job to educate them on how to be a good ally. It's their job to educate themselves because we have Google, we have written books, we have hundreds of YouTube videos on how to be a good white ally. Guess what? Guess what? The black LGBTQ community has done the same fucking thing. Hell, our community... Are you serious? We have shit color-coded. We have flags letting you know this person is this person is that. We have little pins. He, him, you know, she, her, they, them. Like, are you serious? We have done all of that. Just because you haven't taken the time to Google it doesn't mean that we haven't done it. We have lists of all the pronouns. Like, everything that you're saying that we need to create a program for is already out there. It's your fucking job to get on the goddamn internet and look it up. Not ours. And he says, I want the LGBTQ community to realize that when you're talking about pronouns and stuff, you're talking about political correctness. We're talking about lives, black lives, not political correctness. We're talking about people dying, not people's feelings getting hurt. We're talking about people dying, so don't put your narrative of your feelings over people dying. Wow. Just wow. Let's break that down. Talk about political correctness? No, we're not just talking about political correctness because we are dying at a higher rate than you are as a cisgendered straight male. Okay? Let's just put that to rest. The black trans woman is the most persecuted group in our community. And we're going to keep talking about ourselves, whether you like it or not. We're not talking about just political correctness because when we have to deal with the cops, not only do we have to deal with them possibly misgendering us, but if we dare to speak up to the wrong person and correct them on our genders, we might get killed for it. So don't try to say that it's just political correctness. We're dying out there too. Way more than you are. You want to get technical about it? We are. You're just proving our point that we need to keep speaking up because you want us silenced and say that we have an agenda that's different. We're dying. This is about our lives too, not just yours. He says, quote, LGBTQ members, I'm going to say it again, talk about black lives then. Talk about straight black lives. Why do I only hear trans black lives only speaking about trans black lives? How come we can't hear them talk about black lives in general? Really, fucker? Now you're using the why can't we have a straight pride parade argument on it too. Like, the words, do you hear yourself when you speak? or do you just ramble? Because I cannot believe those words came out of your freaking mouth in public. Like, just wow. We talk about our lives because nobody else is. That's why. He says there's no solidarity in the message first before people tell them about his hurtful words. Nobody should have to say, hey, Black Lives Matter. By the way, dude, you said something really hurtful. Like, they wouldn't be reaching out to you in a respectful manner if they didn't fucking care about you. They would just ignore you or blast you as being what you are, homophobic and transphobic. That's it. But instead, they're coming to you respectfully. Now, I don't expect anyone to come to me and say, hey, Black Lives Matter. By the way, I wanted to let you know about something that you did. Like, that, no. Just, you should be able to just listen to somebody when they come to you and say, you hurt me. Without any preconditions. Let's see. He says, I'm starting to question why you're at our events when you're only there to talk about the LGBTQ. Why are you not there to talk about and support black lives? There are black LGBTQ people. And again, we're bringing up ourselves to say we matter. And we exist. And we're being persecuted just like you. He said, members of the LGBTQ community are making this fight much harder. Really? How are we making it harder? For forcing people to actually acknowledge that we exist? For demanding respect in our own community? Because we've been getting shit on in our own community, and here you go, proving it by shitting on us again? No. Says only one black person has confronted him about his pronouns. Not true. At least two of us. No, you won't recognize us as black. You refuse to call Natasha black, even though that's exactly what she identifies as a black woman. You just say mixed. And you do that to say you're not black enough. We get it. We've been dealing with that colorism discrimination all of our freaking lives. And here you go, just doing it again. It also doesn't speak well to your black friends, because if they're not confronting you and saying, hey, you're saying pretty hurtful stuff, you're proving my fucking point as to why I'm speaking up. Because of the homophobia and transphobia in our community. It needs to be addressed. That means we need to speak up and say, hey, we're here, and you need to stop hating us too, because we matter just as much. But here you go, proving the point of why we're speaking up. On to another subject. We raised $5,000 for the Black Lives Matter solid protests that we had on the 6th of June, and none of that money was actually used for the protest. It was kept in Greg's name, even though Ariel, you know, offered to use her account that she's been using for business purposes and, you know, showing receipts and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, what, you don't trust me? And we're like, we're not saying we don't trust you. We're just offering. That's it. And he's like, I'll use the money and I'll show receipts for what I spent it on, and the rest of the money can go on to be used for other Black Lives Matter protests going forward. Said, okay. I haven't seen a single receipt. Sound guy, we actually got a donation specifically to pay him. He still hasn't been paid. Even though Greg said that he paid them. He didn't pay him. Greg said that he paid, over $900 for the porta potties when he didn't pay for the porta potties. The NAACP did. And he said that he would pay Ariel he offered to pay Ariel for all the hard work that she did. Because really, if she didn't step up, that that protest would have been like this small and unorganized, because she's amazing. And so she was like, no, don't pay me, take that money that you were going to pay me and just put it into the funds for the protest on the 4th of July. He said okay. That never happened. And I confronted him over the money, and he's like, where's the receipts? Where is all this money? Like, we didn't see a freaking dime. We had to put on yet another fundraiser to raise money for the 4th of July, and that he then complained about because it was in a white woman's name, even though it was explained to him over and over that it was in a white woman's name because she was protecting black people, because the Proud Boys like to dox, and she's already been doxed by them and called by them. So I don't want my name on it, because I don't want it to be doxed. So whatever, you want to be like that, fine. And he refuses to call Natasha black. He's always like mixed. And you know, the last rant that he's had on our 4th of July event, he was like, you know, you need to ask, you know, you don't just ask permission from a few black people, you need to ask permission from, you know, a lot more of us, and give permission from these specific people. And he named two Christian pastors he wanted us to get permission for our Black Lives Matter event that specifically focused on the women and the LGBTQ community in the Black Lives Matter movement. And he wanted us to get permission from Christian pastors that represent a religion that has been used to validate all the hate and persecution against us for hundreds of years. How tone deaf can you be? Refuses to see me as a actual man or black. And he loves to say, you know, identifies as a man. No, I am a man. It, period. I am black. It, period. He said that if a black man was listed as one of the organizers for the 4th, the Proud Boys wouldn't have showed up. I was listed as one of the organizers. I'm black and I'm a man. So, once again, your argument is invalid unless you're trying to say that I'm not a black man, which you really are. He told people we were using the Black Lives Matter movement to further our own agenda, and felt like we should have our own thing and not call it Black Lives Matter. No, the Black Lives Matter movement is our agenda. We just happen to be gay and trans too, and trying to highlight that, and female and light-skinned black people, like. And here you go saying that we're using it? No, it's our agenda too. Like, seriously, how ignorant can you be? And he convinced a whole bunch of people that we were using the Black Lives Matter movement, and convinced people not to go because he wasn't going. And then what does he do? He shows up to our event, doesn't speak to a single one of us, goes to the front lines and starting shit with the police, with the opposite side, trying to start fights. And we had organized with some of our white allies to be on the front lines for us, to keep the Proud Boys and all their nasty kind away from us and away from our event. And he goes up to them and starts yelling at them and saying, you guys should be over here, we need you over here, don't worry about them, they're distracting, you need to be over here. It's like, no, you need to not try to take control of our protests. I don't even know why you're there. You said you didn't agree with it, and then you show up and try to take charge. No. That's not how it works. You shouldn't even showed up. Let alone try to yell at the people that we already coordinated with that's doing the job that they said they were going to do. Leave them alone. And don't try to come to our movement to try to start shit when we're trying to have a peaceful protest. Like, seriously? No. So, yeah. That's how he's been gaslighting the whole entire community. And it's not just not just me and Natasha talking to him. You know, he's telling our white allies like Ariel, when they're in a meeting with the police, to shut up because her freaking opinion doesn't matter, almost derailing the freaking meetings because he won't freaking listen to anyone. And we've tried to help him, and I've tried numerous times to talk to him about all of this stuff privately. Really did. And be like, I understand, you know, you might not understand this, but let me try to, you know, say it another way for you to understand it. And, you know, even after I talked about how, you know, one of the protests, I talked about how I'm discriminated against because of me being lighter skinned in the black community and gay, and how, you know, we need to call attention to it so that it can be squashed out in our own communities. Like, oh, you know, I get it now, I get it. And then turn around the very next day, creates that freaking video just bashing our freaking movement, like just bashing our protests like we're just scum. And yeah, no, we can't do this anymore. And then not only that, but he's going around driving uninsured without a license, and he's not even registered to vote. Like, how are you going to be a leader in our community and tell people to vote but not be registered yourself? You can look up my voting record. I vote every single chance I get. He's not registered. So no, you can't be a leader in this movement and not be registered to vote. That's not how it, no, not when you don't have a valid reason not to. If you have a felony and you can't vote, if you're undocumented and you can't vote, you know, whatever that reason is that you cannot legally vote, then talk to me. But if it's just because you're lazy and you didn't register, no. I have to call out that, because without doing so, the community will still be gaslit. And I know a lot of white allies out there have been just looking for, you know, black leadership to grasp onto, to help in every single way that they possibly can. And when someone stands up and says, hey, I'm a black leader, people gravitate towards that. I get it and I appreciate it. But just like Sean King, we got to be careful about who we follow, because just like Sean King's a grifter and a liar and not good for our movement, narcissistic, always says that people are attacking him when he gets criticized. Guess what? We have our own right here in Salem. So we need to take care of our own problems, because I want this movement to be strong and not divisive. But we need to realize that you trying to say that the LGBTQ community is using the Black Lives Matter community movement is not okay. We are a part of it. So, just want to let everyone know.